I want you to go further and explain about, how are we going to really do this when we don't have one repository for this?
Okay.
And what the plans are for the future, and also about the communities, not just downstream in the waste, but also upstream. Many tribal communities have been suffering for decades now with the legacy issues of uranium mining. And so we need to understand, if there's going to be this projected proposals for these other reactors, and the nuclear industry got great amount of money for this, we know, in the Energy Bill 2005. So what is the plan for this, if we don't have the Yucca Mountain, is it for the storage for these new places, and how is the industry going to ensure the safety of it?
First off, Yucca Mountain, I don't believe is off the table. I believe Yucca Mountain will come back.
It's off the table now.
It's off the table now, but
Yeah.
well, he won't be the senator in Nevada forever. The next, so that's number one. Number two, we do have dry fuel storage at our sites where we take the fuel out of the pools, put them in canisters, and store them at our sites. With the events of Fukushima that occurred and the fuel pool issues that occurred at Fukushima, our industry now is actually accelerating. Our thoughts are to accelerate dry fuel storage on site and do more of it to get the fuel out of the pools. In terms of the uranium mining and the issues there, I will tell you on the uranium mining side, I am not an expert there, so it would not be proper for me to comment on that. Yes.
Okay. So just a second. Are there any NAACP members that have questions? Because this is really your session, and we're asking all the questions. Please, I want to encourage.
I'm not a NAACP member, but, well, I guess I am since I paid the $40-75.
Come on, Stan, in this session.
You get a one-year membership with that.
Come on, Stan.
Contributing life.
But I was just telling the brother here, who is an NAACP official, that I was just checking my email, and lo and behold, here's an email about a demonstration at Browns Ferry that they're organizing in Alabama. And 70% of the folks are against these nuclear reactors. And they're even going so far as to look at the legislation that's coming up federally that's going to fund the NRC or whatever y'all call y'all.
Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
Yeah, and the fact that it will have in it a line item that will allow unchecked development of other nuclear reactors. So people, and these white folks, this is coming from a white lady. This is coming from no black person, all right? Them is white folks up there in North Alabama that are raising up, okay? I work as an activist and an advocate for environmental groups, mainly providing technology. But I just was saying that this is really unpopular, especially in communities, not only communities of color, but in communities which are predominantly white and affluent, like the Shoals area and up that way. They don't want this, man. I don't understand with Japan now curtailing their activity. I don't know, did you read what's happening last couple of days?
I'm very
Yeah,
aware.
people, I know that France and other countries are saying this is safe, this is cool, but they're even bringing up the point, it's not even protected from the air. The brown, I mean, there's a lot of danger in this, man. We need, who is that, the Exxon man up there with you? You need to get that algae program going, baby. Get on it.
I have to address that. First off, so I'm going to go back to Dr. Sheets and what he had to say. To make large amounts of base load electricity. So what I call base load electricity is electricity that is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So wind, solar, hydro can't do that. They can't make large amounts of power 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay? So at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you wake up and have to go, you know, to relieve yourself, you want the lights to come on, right?
Not necessarily.
Yes or no?
Who you talking to me?
I'm talking to you. You want the lights to come on, right?
You're talking to the wrong brother, because I have lived in a situation that if I didn't like the kerosene lamp, you know, to find the bucket, I wasn't going to that, because there wasn't no inside plumbing.
All right.
So no, I understand how to live, you know, with nature, if you want to call it that way.
All right. So now let's
See,
wait a minute. No, hold on. Let's talk about. You say it's unsafe, and you say that lots of people don't like it. I've worked at several nuclear power plants in my life. The people, if you talk to the people around the nuclear power plant, that live around the nuclear power plants, they love them and they love us. If you want to talk safety, the worst, and you have to understand there's a difference between the U.S. plants and how they're operated, the Japanese plants and how they're operated, the French plants and how they're operated. And we're trying to do better as an industry to influence the world. But if you look at the United States nuclear industry, the worst accident we ever had was 3 Mile Island. We melted a core at 3 Mile Island. I would tell you that's the best thing that ever happened to the nuclear industry, because it allowed us to do some things, it opened our eyes to do some things to make the industry much, much better than it was back in 1979. And when we melted that core, we didn't hurt anybody, because we have containments, we have multiple systems to manage those types of events. So now today, with the training that we've put in place since then, the additional systems that we've put in place since then, those types of things can't happen. What happened in Japan would not happen here in the United States. There are many technical advances that we've put in place over the years, as well as significant operational advances that we've put in place. For instance, all of our operators are licensed by the federal government. I was a licensed operator at one time. You have a contract with the federal government to protect the health and safety of the public. The operators in Japan worked for the utility and were not allowed to take actions that would have mitigated that accident in Japan, because they had to get permission. Here, you don't have to get permission. You do the action, and if you don't do the action, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission will come after you, the operator, personally, for not doing the right things. Our industry is very, very safe. You know, one of the things that I said, one of the issues is mistruths and public perception. There are a lot of people that don't want nuclear power because they don't understand it. The people that understand it love it.
Okay,
Can
so,
I
yeah, please.
let me just say,
Well, let me say one thing to the
Yeah.
audience. So we're talking through what was going to be our break, but since we started a little late, we're just going to keep rolling, and we're going to let this question and answer period go through the break. If people feel a need to go, please do, and come right back. But we're going to continue
We're
the
going long
dialogue.
because you started this, right?
I know I did, and I stepped out of my moderator role, and I want to apologize because I was just supposed to moderate, but y'all wouldn't ask the question, so I had to, okay? And here we are. Keep going.
well, and I just wanted to say, and you know, I made a throwaway line about atomic bomb, nuclear energy. I shouldn't have said that, but that's not why people don't want nuclear. I mean, a lot of people understand nuclear energy, understand it's probably not, you know, not going to blow into atomic bomb, but there are other reasons why people don't want it. I think the environmental justice community is educated about this, and most of it, I can't speak for all the environmental justice community, but you know, 90%, whatever, definitely don't want new nuclear power plants. The waste is a problem. It just, even if you say it's safe for 1,000 years or whatever, it doesn't make sense to us that now that we have these other technologies that are about to bloom, that we keep using the technology where the only thing we can produce a waste, the only thing we can do is bury it or put it in a concrete or whatever, you know, where we just can't. I mean, that's how we got into the fix of climate change, where we start putting stuff in the air and you know, now it's going to destroy the earth if we keep going that way. At least when we start with climate change, at least when we start with you know, with industry and the coal, we didn't quite know what we were doing then, right? And now we turn around and we say, uh-oh. But we know now that we're producing this waste with nuclear energy. So we can't use that excuse. The other thing is there's a lot of opportunity cost here. I mean, it costs a lot of money to build nuclear power plants. And I think from the environmental justice community, we prefer to see that money put in the other areas of renewable energy so we can get those. Like you say, you can't produce what we need now, right now, electricity with the renewables. But will we ever get there if we don't kind of have all decks on hand and really, really invest in the renewables and really change the way we produce energy so that we can get to renewables as soon as possible. So I think it's a little bit unfair to say that, you know, people don't want nuclear because they don't understand it.
Right.
I think people are really sophisticated enough to look at all the problems with nuclear energy and all the benefits. I'm not saying they're not benefits, and make that call on their own, make a real informed call.
So I have an NAACP member, three NAACP members. So
If you want a
Jackie,
green shirt,
wait, hold it. Jackie, you have to make an executive decision. This is obviously getting to be the conversation that we want to have. Do you want us to keep rolling with this conversation?